Okay, I think we're going to start and okay, so I hope people's videos and audio is working okay and that everyone can hear me. Seeing me is not so important, I think. And I'm going to, everyone should be on mute. Okay, for now, anyway. Okay, so welcome everyone. It is so nice to have you all here, and thank you for joining us for the Change Shaping Schools training in social innovation education, day 1 of 2 days. I did mention before, if anyone has their name in Greek letters, if you know how, can you change it to Latin letters so that we in the UK can read your names, but don't worry if it's a problem. So first, as we are in the UK, and as you already know, my small Greek, we are here today, people from Croatia, Romania, Cyprus, Greece, and Serbia. So we all have different languages. We will try to be clear, and sorry if we can't pronounce your names, and we will try to speak slowly and clearly. Also, please be patient if there are any technological issues. So, my name's Jen Wall. I work at Social Enterprise International in the UK. We are one of the project partners, and I am one of your trainers today. I was a secondary school teacher for 10 years, and then I began working on European projects, including the project that developed social innovation education, our topic for today. And we started that in 2017. My colleague Katrina is your other trainer today. Katrina?
Thank you, Jen. Good afternoon. As Jen said, my name is Katrina Dunn, and I'm co-presenting with Jen today. I've been in human resources, people development and training for 20 years now. And for the last 3 years, I've also been working closely with a school, supporting them in their career strategy. I've worked with Jen introducing social innovation education into this school, so I know firsthand what it's like to implement this programme into a school.
Thanks, Katrina. And all project partners are here today from all your countries. They will introduce themselves now, starting with Ioana, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ioana Garethi, and I represent Stimuli for Social Change in Greece. We are the coordinators of the CSS EU project, and as Jen mentioned before, together with and her team from Social Enterprise International, we are the creators of the social innovation education model on which you will all be trained during the 2 days bootcamp. I'm very happy to have you on board. Thank you very much for devoting your afternoon with us. And I hope that we will have 2 very fruitful days with lots of questions and discussions.
Thanks, Ioana. And now Theo Pouliopoulos.
Yes, hello. I'm Theo from Greece. I'm the project manager on behalf of the coordinator, Stimuli for Social Change. I'm very happy to be with you, and I'm sure that we are going to have a great training in the good hands of Jen and Katrina. And I'm looking forward to cooperate and interact with you all these 2 days of the training.
Thanks, Theo. Now, Daria from Croatia.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Daria, and I'm here on behalf of Par University College from Rijeka, Croatia. We are one of the partners of the project and the ambassadors for schools in Croatia. And all of those teachers who we have here from Croatia are familiar with Christina, my colleague, who will be joining us later this afternoon. I'm really excited about this event, and I hope that it's going to go all well, and I have no doubt.
Thanks, Daria. And now Christos from Cyprus.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Christos Peristianis. I represent Center for Social Innovation, which is the ambassador of the project and of social innovation education in Cyprus. And really glad to be here and looking forward for today's training at the good hands of Jen. Thank you.
Thanks, Christos. And now Mariana from CSI in Cyprus also.
So hello, my name is Mariana. I also represent the Center for Social Innovation. I'm really happy to be here today and I'm looking forward to this beautiful training. Thank you.
Thanks, Mariana. Mada from Allgrow in Romania.
Hello, everyone. This is Madalina from Allgrow, Romania. We're the country partner here in Romania. Really excited to be here. I'd like to say hello to the teachers from Romania and to all the teachers joining us here. And I'm so excited about this training and to spend this today with you guys and the second day of the training. Thank you.
Thanks, Mada. Tiana from Kid Hub in Serbia.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. So my name is Tiana Petrovic and I'm an art historian and communications specialist. I'm here as representative of Kid Hub from Serbia. Our organization will be ambassador of this fantastic innovative program in Serbia. And I'm also social entrepreneur. So for 5 years, I have been developing first social toys in Serbia. So thank you for having all of us, and thanks to all Serbian teachers who are here today with us.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tiana. And last but not least, Uros.
Okay, hi, everybody. My name is Uros. I come as well as along with Tiana in front of the Kid Hub from Serbia. We're ambassadors for this program in Serbia as well. And I'm really looking forward to all of this. So, Jennifer.
Thanks, Uros. Yeah, Katrina and I are really looking forward to this as well. Thanks, everyone. So, Change Shaping Schools is a project that is co-funded by Erasmus Plus and is focused on scaling up an impactful social innovation education model in schools around Europe. So today and on day 2, we will be going through how to implement this in your school. Just a few things to mention before we begin. If you cannot attend the whole session today, of course, you can leave and we will send you the recording and all the information you need after. Please make sure you watch the recording before day 2. During the training, if you have any questions, please write them in the chat and we will answer them when we can. We won't forget, don't worry. You can have cameras on or off, of course. I think if internet is low or weak, videos off is better, but you can decide. If we go too fast or you need some help, please put a message in the chat. And if you miss any information or miss any answers to activities, no problem, don't worry. We will send you the PowerPoint with all the answers on. And there is a lot of information in these 2 days, but don't worry, this is the beginning of continuous support from all of us, us remotely in the UK and all the project partners in your countries. And we will be with you as you run social innovation education in your school. Our contact details are at the end of the presentation and will also be in the email we send afterwards with the training information. Also, there is a Facebook group for everyone doing social innovation education through this training, and the link is in the chat and we will also send it in the email after the training. After day 2 of the training, You will also receive a certificate. You should all have a welcome pack. This includes programs for the days and the resources you need. You can complete the activities on paper or on your device. There is a link in the chat to the welcome pack. If you need this, please have this ready to use. When you need it, we will tell you, and we will tell you which page number you need. So, a brief overview of the day. First, welcome and introductions and objectives. And we have the timings here in red for Serbia and Croatia, and blue for Greece, Cyprus, and Romania. Then we will do Co-Creation Lab Stage 1, which I will explain more later. Then we have a 10-minute break before Co-Creation Lab Stage 2. Then another 10-minute break. And after that, we finish Co-Creation Lab Stage 2. And then there is some small preparation for the next session on Friday, November 25th. So it's been really nice to say hello already. And this training was going to be in the UK. And if you were here, we'd all be talking and getting to know each other. So let's do a little of that now. I'm going to share an activity that is on a website called Mentimeter. And I don't know who has used it before, so I can give you some time as we do the activity. On the screen, you should be able to see the internet and a man asking you to think. And this is the website here, menti.com. There is also a link in the chat so that you can go to this website on your device. I'll just give you some time to go there. Okay, I hope people are okay. When you are on the website, enter this code at the top and you will be able to write your answer to this question. So write something interesting about your country and or your education system. For me, I would write that even though we're in November, I think you could buy some Christmas food or clothes in every shop here right now. And also for the education system, our Christmas holidays begin on December 18th because Christmas Day here is December 25th. Okay, we should be able to see people's answers appear on this screen if the magic of technology is working. I haven't written mine, but you could write your country as well if you want, so we know who is talking. Occupied, okay. Like busy. The link and the code are also in the chat if you need them. Oh, confusing, not children-centered. That's a shame. I assume that's the education system, not a general comment on the country. Yeah, we look forward to visiting. That's interesting about education.
That's the same for us as well in the UK, isn't it? Not enough time for projects.
Oh, we can't wait to visit. I wonder where that outdated system is. Hello from Palendry Village. Someone's written in the chat, extremely loaded curriculum. That's a really good idea. If it's difficult getting onto Mentimeter, you can write in the chat. Great idea. Thanks, Elena.
For some reason, I cannot enter the code. That is why I wrote in the chat. Sorry for that.
No problem. Good idea. Thanks, Elena. Great mountains.
Great mountains. I wonder where that is.
Oh, I know. I think it could be any of the 4 countries.
Romania, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait to visit Romania. Always in reform, yes. It's the same in the UK. When I was teaching, we would get used to some new way of teaching, and then 2 years later, have to totally change everything again. It was great fun. Okay, I don't know if people are still writing, but I'm going to go back now. Thank you so much for sharing. It's no way near as good as actually being in the room with you, but at least we know a little bit more about each other. So
we're now going to talk about what we're going to achieve today. And by the end of the 2 days, you will understand what social innovation is, have experienced a co-creation lab simulation, have planned how to facilitate a social innovation project in your school, be familiar with the key CSS resources. So in today's session, what we're going to focus on is experience stages 1 and 2 of a co-creation lab. We're going to hear from people involved in social innovation education already. we're going to plan stages 1 and 2 of a social innovation project.
Okay, so this is an overview of the 5 stages of a co-creation lab. This is where you create and carry out your social innovation projects. We will explain this more over the 2 days, and the simulation starts now. This is so that you experience what you will train other teachers or support your students in doing in your schools. One of the resources in your welcome pack that you need today is the lab planner. It's on page 9 and 10. After each co-creation lab stage, there will be a reflection session where you will have time to read your planner and make notes on how you would run the co-creation lab with your students, your teachers in your school. You can do this as we do it over these 2 days, or adapt it using the Change Shaping Schools resources, which we will send you after the training. During these reflection sessions, you can work individually or talk to colleagues or other people on the training about how you will run social innovation education in your school. And we'll be here so we can help and answer any questions, so you're not doing it on your own. The aim is that by the end of the 2 days, you already have your plan ready of how you will do this in your school. So you're not preparing it without our help. In the lab planner, you can see a preparation phase and an implementation phase. The preparation phase is about the organization and practicalities. We are going to focus on the implementation phase in this training, but project partners, your local ambassadors who are here today, will support you in preparing to run social innovation education in your schools. And of course, we can talk about this in the reflection sessions, and when we hear from the teacher who is already doing social innovation education, you can ask her questions.
So we're now going to focus on stage 1. Get to know each other and give basic introduction of social innovation. The first and introductory stage of a co-creation lab aims to allow participants to get to know each other and become comfortable and fully engaged in the process. Additionally, it allows participants to understand the wider philosophy, scope, and practical application of social innovation education. We are now going to show you a video that gives you an overview of what Social Innovation Project is all about. The video is a Change Shaping Schools resource for students to introduce them to social innovation education, and you can use this as part of your programme. Thanks, Jen, for that video. Now the students have seen this video, they'll have a better idea of what Social Innovation Project is all about. So we're now going to do a group activity together called Would You Rather? It's an activity to get to know each other. It's part of the resources which you'll find in the Change Shaping Schools activity bank, which we'll share with you after the training. This activity is what you can do with your students and is a great way for students and adults to get to know each other. So we're going to put you into breakout rooms with people from other countries. A project partner will always be with you in the breakout room should you need anything. Read the instructions and give an example of your answer, giving a reason for your choice. You now have 10 minutes in your breakout room, and when you come back, you'll have some time to share this with your group. You will see a pop-up box on the screen when you have 30 seconds left in the breakout room, and then you will be brought back automatically into the main room. Madda, please open the breakout room. Welcome back. I hope you found that activity enjoyable and you managed to find some interesting facts about each other, some fun facts. And this is a great activity to do with your colleagues or students as part of the programme.
I was wondering if anyone wanted to share any of their answers. You don't have to, but in case you would like to. You could write it or say it, or we don't have to talk about it at all. I don't mind.
Jen, if it's okay if I say something, because
yeah, please.
It was quite interesting. Like just to mention that, I mean, you said it already that this is an activity that it is for the children to kind of speak their mind when they are basically they're entering in this new environment with people that they don't know. And it is an activity for children, for the kids, basically to speak their mind, to say who they are, kind of to introduce themselves. And during our kind of breakout room, it was similar. So I had it was a very good group, and everyone spoke their mind. Everyone had kind of comments, and like there was some very interesting answers, like. For the second question, the person who answered said, I am very pleased with my age, as I am how should you say, I'm very pleased with my age, and I wouldn't change anything. So it's, you know, and these kind of questions, like the same way that they allowed us to speak our mind and get to know each other, they do the same for the kids. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, great. Yeah, because we realized that the children that we've done this with can be very shy of adults they don't know, and equally adults might not know how to talk to the children, so just things to get them to know each other made it more enjoyable and helped the co-creation labs run more smoothly. And also I've put on there give reasons, because in the UK at least a lot of students might just say an answer but not give a reason. So even though it's a fun activity to get to know each other, we're trying to help them think a bit critically about things and look a little bit deeper, but in a fun way.
When we did this in school, we had one boy who refused to get involved and answer a question. And I thought it was because his reading wasn't very good. So how we dealt with that was we just asked him a question from the sheet, and then he was quite happy to answer it. So I think it also depends on the reading ability of your students as well, and the confidence. So that was one way around it that we got around it.
Would anyone else like to share anything?
I can share two things. That the question, would you rather become 5 years older or 2 years younger? It's not so tricky for our age, because I guess everybody wants to be younger, apart from Christos participant. It would be, and also this is the age difference with the kids, because the students, I'm sure they would like to be 5 years older. So it's and the other thing I would like to share is it's interesting why in the question, would you rather be able to control fire or water? Most people choose water. And maybe this is from the flood myths that in all cultures and civilizations exist. But it would be interesting also to see if students pick the same. And then we could verify that flood stories are true because they exist in our genes, maybe.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I hope it helps to like adults and students to see that there are things that are different, but also that there are things that are similar. So it helps them get on well. And it is really interesting to see the differences and what people think. Okay. A brief introduction then to social innovation education. What is it? It fosters an attitude and drive in young people that encourages them to co-create with a diverse range of people social innovation projects to address social issues. And how does it do this? It's achieved through students creating and carrying out social action projects in co-creation labs with adults to address issues that are important to them. And when we say adults, we mean anyone is interested. So community members, social innovators, businesses, parents, anyone who wants to be involved.
All social innovation projects are guided by the United Nations 17 Sustainable Goals. The 17 goals are linked as they recognise that action in one area will affect outcome in others, and that development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. Here are 5 videos of examples of social innovation in action. It gives you examples of social innovation projects in different countries. We are going to watch the United Kingdom video, and you can watch the other 4 videos at another time, and you can share these videos with your students and colleagues as part of the programme.
Children to be involved in the Nemesis project, so we selected children from disadvantaged backgrounds or children who found learning
Students with ADHD save 10 hours studying with this Chrome extension.
But no, by all difficult or being in the classroom, so we invited different people to the co-creation lab initially and asked them what the social problems were in our local community. So the children decided on what project they wanted to do initially.
At the moment in time, we're working on project 525, which is about the house. It's like a house where people, and when you get angry, you can calm down in different rooms. So like paint in one room, like colouring in another room.
Everybody's had a voice in that. So the children have been able to say, oh, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? They've then done their designs. So the children have gone away and got their class to do designs on what they think the house should look like.
We're trying to make it into a place where community people or people from school, like our school, could come in and other schools if they're like worrying about things or if they've got a difficulty while they're learning like stuff like that.
It's all about social innovation, making a change and a difference for the lives of younger children, especially as the world is changing every day. And I think they need to become active citizens in their environment and have empathy and passion for other people.
Give them more confidence to speak and do more projects, which I was shy at the first, but now I'm not shy that much, especially talking to adults who I don't know.
to see the transformation from the children being really nervous to being very confident and being able to give their voice, to see other members of the community getting on board and getting really excited about the project, and knowing that every stakeholder will benefit from it, it's got to be a good thing. It's got to be a good thing for the community, it's got to be a good thing for the school, and yeah, for the society around. Yeah, absolutely.
Decided on what.
For those of you that might not have been able to see the video, we will be sending links in the PowerPoint presentation. So if you didn't manage to see it, then don't worry. You will be able to see it another time when we send you the PowerPoint and the links.
Thanks, Katrina. So now we are actually going to hear from Louise Greenwood, who is a school leader and teacher from Willow Tree Academy. And you just saw her talking in the video, so she is famous now. She is a school leader for one of 4 schools in the trust in the north of England, and they were part of the project that created social innovation education and have been running it in their schools since 2017. We're going to talk to Louise, and if you have any questions, which we really encourage that you do have, you can ask whatever you want. You can write them in the chat or unmute afterwards and ask. Okay, Louise.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Oh,
Hi,
thank
Jen.
you. Hiya. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Welcome.
You're famous now because we just watched your video, and so would you just explain a little bit more about that Project 525 first, please?
Yes, so we took over Rockingham Junior and Infant School in Rotherham in England in 2017, and the school was in special measures, so it was underperforming, lots of problems in the school, and we needed to support our children to develop their social and emotional mental health, their resilience, how they work together. The school came with a caretaker's house where the site manager who looked after school lived, and we asked the local authority if we could purchase that building as part of our school for a nurture provision for our children. So it is a base where children can go who are struggling with school or struggling with learning, or it might be behaviour. And we've been working on that project for 3-4 years now, and we hope to open the building in January 2022. So it's been a long process, but we've had lots of children, families and community members involved in making that happen. So it's been quite a lengthy process.
Yeah, wow, a really long project.
Yes.
It sounds fantastic, and I've really enjoyed being involved in it. And yeah, so tell us, how did you decide which children would be involved in that specific project?
We chose some of our children who do have difficulties in the classroom because we wanted it to be made purposeful for them and what they would want to see in that building. So they attended the co-creation lab meetings with members of our local council, parents, community, potential people who might be able to help us. So we chose children from each classroom felt might use that space or need that space in the future.
Oh, great. Okay, great. And how many children was that?
I think it ended up being about 20 in that one project, but each year we introduced new children. So it ended up being the old school, so about 330 in the last year or so.
Wow.
The actual design once the building started to take shape.
Great. Okay, and so what are the impacts on your children, do you think?
To get them into enjoying learning, enjoying being in the classroom,
yeah,
and having that confidence and resilience and aspirations to succeed later on in life. So even if then they're not academic, hopefully they will have a drive and determination to take on new challenges, which is what we want our children to have, but also that respect and empathy and understanding of other people. So they've worked hard with people in the community to understand what our needs are, what the problems are in our local area. Because the building will also be used after school and before school for parents to have workshops on parenting classes, and also to try and get parents back into work by helping them write CVs or application forms that they'd need for work.
Okay. Wow. So many different benefits coming out of it. Okay. What for this particular project? So I know you have done lots and lots of different projects. This is the most complex and big, I think. So we can talk about some other projects in a moment. But for this project, what were the challenges? Or if you could pick one or two, perhaps.
The main one is funding, which is a project the size of the one that we've taken on. We've had much support or involvement from local business, which we're really disappointed about, because we felt that it would benefit the community, so we wanted business to try and support us.
Yeah.
The children wrote letters and made phone calls, and it still didn't get them there, so that was quite challenging.
Yeah.
And also making sure that we set meeting dates so that everyone could attend in advance, rather than trying to cobble something together really quickly. So having a schedule and a time frame was something that we felt that was quite difficult to begin with.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess there is a lot of different people to get involved, and I suppose not everyone can come to every meeting, but you can tell them what happened and keep them informed. Yeah, okay. And what do you think helps? What are the enablers? What helps you to be able to run social innovation education in your school?
The staff really are behind it. The staff believe in it. So I think that's a really big strength, that everybody sees the value and the benefit in that for children. We want them to be global citizens. We want them to care about their environment, or even across the world, what's happening, especially obviously with the climate change and things like that people are heavily invested in.
Yeah.
So, I think having the backing of the head teacher, Jane, our executive head, has been really passionate about it. So it's kind of been our driving point for getting everyone involved.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I understand. I agree. Having worked in a school myself, I know how important it is to have other people helping you and supporting you. So we have focused so far on that very large that very large project. So would you be able to tell us about some smaller projects?
Yeah, so we do lots of projects in school just on our environment. So different classes have a responsibility for an area within school which they develop and enhance. So that might be through organising games, activities. It might be having different areas for quiet time for children who really struggle with social situations and have anxiety. So some children set up clubs and things like that. Our 2-year-olds run every winter a coats for winter project, where families bring in coats and do a swap shop, so that parents who struggle financially have the relevant clothes for winter, especially as children and develop. Our older children have worked with the homeless charities to look at supporting how we can support and understand homelessness across Rotherham and across the UK. And then we've had, again, bigger projects where we've worked alongside the Spanish school and also a school in China that we're partnered with, where we've done some literacy work and some they've done a project in their school and we've done one in ours, and then compared the responses and things like that. So all the classes have been involved in different ways.
Okay. Oh, thanks. Would you be able to tell us as well, because I know there are four schools in your trust, so about some projects that took place in the previous project where we developed social innovation education, about the fashion one, the park one, and I can't remember the third, but you know.
Yeah, that was the recycling. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So at Herringthorpe School, they did a project with Natasha on making bags, you know, fair trade, and looking at kind of the ethics behind how bags are made. They use different materials to generate those in school, and to look at the best ways that we could make those, and that linked to their topic about the ocean and pollution. And we need to look after the environment. At Greesborough School, they had a project in the local park, so they worked with the park rangers on planting flower beds and identifying areas for the local community to go and play safely. They went every week to go a big clean, tidy up, getting rid of litter that was in the area.
And sorry, that park project, I remember that the Friends of the Park, a local adult group, got involved when they saw how dedicated the children were to actually continuing, because I think they improved the park, did they? And then was there a time when it was vandalized, so they went back to continue their work and it was all destroyed?
Yeah, some of the older children from the secondary school had been down, and they'd done graffiti, they'd littered everywhere, they'd pulled all the plants out that the younger children planted. So we worked, I know the teacher at Greesborough worked closely with the comprehensive school to try and put that right, to try and educate. I mean, it seems, you know, very strange it's the other way around, but the younger children were educating the older children on how important the community is for everyone that uses it.
Yeah. And I remember you saying that when I think the children found out about the vandalism, and children who weren't involved in the project, and told you and the children who were involved, and then that got them involved, because they just, that word of mouth, that finding out about things, meant that they were interested, even though they weren't in the project from the beginning.
Yeah, they all went down and put it right. Same day, I think they cancelled all the lessons that they would have had that morning. All went down to put it right.
Yeah, oh, that's really good, and a really a nice example, I think, also of how people can get involved. Like you explained before, how you chose a group of vulnerable children for the big project, and then the children who weren't even involved in this project heard about it and involved themselves. So yeah, there's lots of ways to engage young people, I think. And what's the fashion project?
At Roughwood School, similar to our younger children, they did a project called Fast Fashion, where parents and children brought in lots of clothing and set up an actual shop in the school. So the families could come in weekly to get new. I think they charged £3, and they could fill a bag up of as many things as they wanted to take with them. And we had lots and lots of parents donating to that, and the children were responsible for organising everything and getting everything ready each week for the swap shop and the fashion side of it.
Yeah, I remember seeing some videos of parents who were really pleased with their new clothes, and I think it was indoors at first, perhaps at lunch, was it? And children went, but then they had the idea of having it outside the school when parents and carers came to collect their children, so they could see, and that involved more parents.
Yeah, they put it out on the playground so that as parents were going past, they wanted to know what was happening. So quite a lot of the whole school community involved, because obviously it was more visible than being inside.
Yeah, and it was cheap, wasn't it? Like, what was it, £1 for one big bag of clothes, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was very. It was less than £5, I think, for the clothing for the.
Yeah, and did parents continue any like involvement in the wider activities of the school, not only in the social innovation projects?
Yeah, I think once you get the confidence of the parents and the parents are involved in practical things, because sometimes our parents are frightened that they're not knowledgeable enough to support the children academically with core areas such as your reading, writing and your maths, but they will come in and they'll get involved in design and technology. You know, we were finding that more and more parents wanted to be involved in things that were happening in the school because of that.
Okay, and yeah, that's great. And were these parents who had been involved before or not?
No, we when we took over the school in 2017, the parents said that they felt that the school door was shut to them, weren't allowed in or to have anything to do with what was happening. Put on more and more social events to try and encourage that parental engagement.
Yeah, that's really good. I think some parents, well, when I was teaching, some parents, I only spoke to them if it was something negative or I was calling home about a problem with their child. So having them engage with schools in a positive way, I think it had a really positive benefit, impact on the parents as well as the children. Yeah, okay, great. So what does the future hold for your schools and your trust and social innovation education?
The children now, as part of our curriculum, each year group of children plan their own Nemesis social innovation projects yearly. So they plan at least, they plan one, and then obviously depending on how long it takes, some are a lot shorter than others, depending on where the children take them. And then they look at how they can include more into the curriculum as the year goes on. So all the teachers have planned for those this year in terms of linked to their topic, so it fits in with what they're already teaching. But we start the sessions by getting the children's ideas first, and then they've looked at who they can invite from the community to get involved and finding those partners.
Okay, that's interesting. So you involve the students in contacting people in the community to get involved?
Yeah, sometimes our community members are more pushed by children than they are adults.
Yeah.
If you get a child to make a phone call or write a letter, you get more of a chance of a response than if a staff member does it. Okay,
yeah, great. And could you kind of tell us about some of the different people who got involved, like what their background was, why they were involved?
Yes, so lots of businesses, engineers, you know, people from kind of a finance background, or kind of you know, people who are studying at university. So we've had lots of communication with kind of Sheffield Hallam, our local university, who's supported with us. But we find that our local council are probably the most effective because they have a bigger, what am I trying to say, you know, a bigger impact on what we can achieve, because they have more power than, you know, than others in terms of our area. We can and can't do.
Yeah, very true. And was it generally people from the local area, or did you have people from further afield?
I think it's people who know people by word of mouth, who would share things with that on our website to get more people interested, or on Twitter to let people know we're doing a project and to ask for involvement that way. But it does tend to be majority are from our local area, and people who have the time to support.
Yeah. Okay. Did anyone see what you put on your website or social media, or hear from the children and ask to get involved without you and the students contacting them first?
We did try to get Nick Knowles, who's in charge of DIY SOS in the UK, down. So we did try to go very ambitious.
Yeah.
In terms of people we were contacting. But yeah, we do have, we've got a list of community members that all 4 schools use, share contacts. So every time we get a new one, we add it to our list, and that helps us, whatever project we're doing, we can look down the list and see who to contact.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it tends to be through word of mouth that we get people involved.
Okay, that's good. And do students notice, like think, oh, my I don't know, my mum is interested in fashion, so she might want to help or something, or yeah,
and they are relatives, you know, grandparents or aunties and uncles who may have a business or company or are employed in a certain field that we are.
Okay, yeah, we I supported one school running a project, and they wanted to support children's social, emotional, mental health as they came back to school after being in lockdown during COVID. And the first session, they wanted to help these younger children get to know each other so they didn't feel isolated, and they played games with them, and their mum and stepdad ran quizzes in the community and board games, so they brought all their games with them, and they taught us and the children how to play them. So that suggestion came from the students, because I don't own that number of games, you know, that was something very specific to them. It was really good. Okay, so bearing in mind, we've got teachers today from Croatia, Romania, Cyprus and Serbia, and I think the education system is going to be very different to the UK and very different to all schools. And so please do, teachers, write in the chat or have some questions ready for Louise. But Louise, what advice would you give to new schools who are going to run social innovation education in their school?
I think it's a really tough one in terms of we do have lots of freedoms in the UK in relation to what we teach. So we are able to kind of go where the children want to take things. I think it's important, as I said earlier, to get the principal or the head teacher involved in why it's important for the children in terms of their understanding of why do we need to make a difference to the world or our local area, but also try and make sure, rather than choosing children from different classes, you know, choose the ones that you work with first and show that it works and it's successful, and you know, share it more widely with people so they know it's happening. And once you've had your first successful project, lots more people want to get involved.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you. And any really practical things, like about organizing the time and date or anything, or is it easy to do when you're in your own school doing it?
Yeah, I think having lots of resources similar to what you made, Jen, with the getting to know you activities and making the children feel comfortable around adults. Because our children were quite nervous talking to people they didn't know. So we had to do lots of games and activities to build their confidence. And we saw that improve rapidly over a number of weeks.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know, trying to set a date at each meeting for the next one before people leave, so that everybody's committed to that next session, and having some objectives so that everybody knows what they have to do to bring to the next meeting. So you allocate jobs to different people.
Excellent. Yeah, great. Oh, wonderful. So I don't know, Joanna, if we have any questions in the chat for Louise, or if anyone would like to unmute and ask Louise some questions, please. You are all very welcome. We're here to learn from each other and support you. So I'll just give you some time now in case you want to write, or of course you can unmute. I don't know if you can see that, Louise. Are you going to read that? Yeah. Was it more difficult to involve children or parents in the project?
Definitely parents.
Yeah.
We do have half of our school, the parents all work. So that is quite tricky when they're working parents. But we do have a lot of families who don't work, or either mum or dad doesn't work, so they're easier to reach. So sometimes we ask for verbal feedback before the meeting, so they might write down any ideas that can help. But I think time for parents is the biggest issue that we had, depending on what else they were doing outside of school.
True. And I suppose we learnt during lockdown that parents, because they were at home or because more people are more used to connecting online, that more parents were involved. So hopefully we can take a little bit of that familiarity with technology into the future, and more parents can get involved virtually instead. You know, they don't have to actually be there.
Yeah, yeah, that worked better.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the students were chosen for the house project. How else did you decide which students to do other projects with?
The teacher did them with their own class. So it was easier, rather than trying to have time outside of the school day, or when people were having lunch or before school. It made sense to do it with the children that you teach every day, or for specific sessions, because you can continue it easily.
Okay, thanks. I saw a question come up. It was, did you use any kind of reward to the students involved in your projects?
Probably just through acknowledgement, praise and kind of recognition for the work that they had done. So sharing their success in our assemblies that we have, or in the videos that we've made, to show that the children have developed those skills and that we're very proud of how far they've come. Rather than actual physical rewards, I think it was more about them as a person and how they'd grown in confidence.
Okay, I remember one boy saying that he did feel like being involved in the projects was a treat.
Yes.
So that was the reward in itself. Yeah. How many students?
Questions.
Sorry, go on. Yeah.
No. Just
okay.
come on. I'm just looking into the questions so that we don't miss.
And thanks, Diane and Vaso. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names. And this is from Marina. So how many students is the best number to be involved in the project?
Our classes are about 30. So we have 30 children involved in each project for the class. Sometimes year groups work together. So 2 teachers might work together on a project, and you might have 60 children then involved, depending on what it is that they're doing.
Okay. Were they all doing different tasks or had different roles?
Yeah, lots of designing and coming up with ideas and contacting people. So each different group of children were responsible for different things.
Okay. This is a multi-layered question, so I'm going to break it into 2. How did you reach out to social innovators in your community?
We kind of used the internet to look for people on social media, or people that we knew had a business. We use email quite a lot, so the children would write emails or telephone calls, or ask people if they knew anyone. Sometimes we would send a letter out to parents asking them if any of their family members knew anyone that were involved in a particular area that we were looking at, to ask for advice and support.
Thanks. And what role did they have? How did they contribute to the children's projects?
Through gathering of resources, giving their time for ideas to share with the children, and just trying to find new contacts for people. But at the beginning, the adults were leading all the conversations, but then afterwards, that's when the children started to come into their own and they took over. So by the end, the parents didn't get much time for talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. It was the other way around.
So there's no more questions in the chat at the moment. Would anyone like to unmute and ask anything? You're very welcome. And remember, all of this is in the recording, so you can look back at it in your own time afterwards. Great children power, yes. Thanks, Tiana. I agree. Okay. Okay, thanks everyone so much for your questions. Sorry, is that someone talking or me echoing? Me echoing, I think. Thank you everyone for your questions. And thank you so much, Louise, for being here. It's been really useful and insightful to hear about your experience with social innovation education. It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thanks so much for being here. Have a fantastic weekend, won't you?
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Louise. Bye.
Okay. So, of course, when speaking to Louise, we've heard about the benefits of social innovation education for young people, and it's summarized in this picture word cloud. These are the benefits that we found of social innovation education when we evaluated the project that it was developed in. So students felt empowered because they were really being heard and it made them feel important and valued. They felt a sense of belonging because they were connected with the community and their school community. They felt relevant and equal because they had ideas that were really happening. And this gave them ownership because they led them and helped them feel autonomous. They were empowered and this gave them confidence and helped them become more proactive and capable because they really knew the projects were theirs. And this personal connection with the projects, because they were chosen and led by students alongside with adults, enabled them to become change makers today and help develop this mindset or attitude so which they can take with them into the future. Social innovation education has 3 design principles. Students at the center. Cross-generational, so adults and children, and collective problem solving through co-creation. And transformative social action. See page 7 in your welcome pack for checklists on each principle. So when you are doing your project, you know it follows them. It looks like this. You don't need it now, but it's for when you are doing your project. So now we will look at what social innovation education is and what it isn't. It is student-driven, as they have ownership of the projects. It isn't teachers telling children what to do. It is children working with the community. It isn't children doing things for the community. It is collaborative and collective problem solving. It isn't individuals addressing problems on their own. It is developing a mindset to help society instead of being unaware of societal issues. It is redefined child-adult relationships instead of adults taking over from children. It is developing competencies and a social philosophy over time. It's not ticking a box to say you've done something. It is advocating transformative action instead of a lack of involvement in wider issues.
So now you've had some time to think on your own and discuss with colleagues from your country on how you will carry out stage 1 in your own school. So if you turn to page 10 of your welcome pack, there is a lab planner. Focus on stage 1, as that's the stage that we've just done. We've written in the activities we've just done, so you have a ready-made plan for when you train others to do this in your school. Make notes on how you could do this in school and think about how the activities might work with your colleagues and students. You'll also have the opportunity to discuss this with your project partners in the breakout room that you're going to go into in a minute. The link to the welcome pack is in the chat. You have 15 minutes so you can discuss any ideas and practice. If you have any questions, there is a ask for help symbol, which is a question mark in a circle. Click it and one of us will come into your breakout room. Alternatively, you can keep any questions for when we meet back here in 15 minutes, as your ideas may be useful to share with the rest of the group. Mada, please open the breakout rooms.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. I hope everyone found that a useful time to discuss your ideas. I think it would be great if people are happy to share some of their ideas. If you'd like to put that in the chat, or if you're happy to unmute and talk to us all, so we can all learn from other people's ideas. I'll just give you a few minutes to put some, to share your ideas in the chat.
And if anyone would like me to kind of go through that stage with the lab planner, we can do that as well, whatever you need.
Jen, if I might again first say something, because there were some interesting discussions during my breakout room about, because we discussed like the icebreaker that we did and about other ways that we can like start like a co-creation lab. And there were some very interesting comments made by like 2-3 teachers that were in my group. Like a lot of them have already like done a lot of preparation, I have to say, like discuss with their teachers, and like some of them have already experience on this kind of activities of ice breaking, like to give the voice to the students. I'm not gonna kind of like go into it, but like it was just very interesting to hear that there are different ways, and schools already have ideas on how to do these things. I just wanted to say this.
Oh, that's great to hear. And of course, because you're all teachers, you know, when I was teaching, we use these kind of activities all the time. This is just one example from the Change Shaping Schools Activity Bank. There are lots more, and of course you might have your own or different ones that really suit your children or your way of teaching. If you want to share any, it would be really interesting and helpful to hear. I mean, now and also afterwards, we can share them in the teaching group or on the website so that we can share practice with each other across countries.
Jen, can I say something?
Please.
It's more or less about the logistics part, and also to inform those teachers that they might feel not so comfortable with English language, you are going to have those material that you are looking now, the lab planning session, the activities that we prepared, the guidelines, the handbook, everything, it's going to be in your national language. In the next 2 months, you are going to have those resources in Romanian, in Serbian, in Croatian, and in Greek for Cyprus. So don't be anxious about implementing the project in your schools. You are going to have full support also from the ambassadors in each country. I'm saying again, that is Madalina for Romania, is Uros and Diana for Serbia, is Daria and Christina, that she will join us afterwards, from Croatia, and it's Christos from Cyprus. So teachers will have full support in their national language also. And here in the training, you will go through the introductory part, and of course, it would be great also, I'm saying this lastly, to everybody joins the Facebook group, and maybe the next months and during the implementation phase in each country to have a constant communication and the exchange of experience and practices from the 4 countries participating in the project.
Thanks, Teo.
And if I may add something from the group that I was involved in, that there have been a lot of similarities to what they are already doing, which is quite nice. And the student-led approach especially was something that has been integrated, let's say, during the last 2 years. However, due to COVID, you know, things have been quite difficult to be integrated further. But yeah, they see a lot of similarities from what we are proposing to what they are already doing. And they will find a lot as soon as, you know, they get their hands on the resources that we will be giving them, you know, read through what we have been giving them. And then during the capacity building workshops, that will happen in their local context.
Brilliant, great points, everyone. And it's true. So this is just the beginning of the support and training for you. It's not 2 days and then we say goodbye. We're going to be with you and in local languages. I can't, but I can help you remotely from the UK. And hopefully when I visit, I can be there. So we're all here to help you with all the free resources from the project, which will be in the email after the training. And we are, as people, as Teo reminded us, here with you to support you. So don't worry if you don't write down everything today. The stage structure that we suggest today in the training for stage 1 is a structure that I used with 3 secondary schools in the UK, and we show them that first video as an overview of social innovation education, just to give them an idea, an introduction to what they are going to do, and then the get to know each other activity. You can do the one we did today or a different one, so that they can get to know each other, obviously. And then the videos of existing projects, so that they can see what that might look like. And please do watch the other videos. There are 4 on that PowerPoint slide, and there are lots and lots on the website and YouTube channel of the project that created this, which we can share with you. So there are all kinds of different projects. And again, there are also very similar projects. So I think children in Greece and Spain both created a friendship bench And so it was quite interesting to see the different projects, but also how countries so far apart could have the same ideas.
I wanted to say that it might be interesting also during that first phase, actually, when we are introducing children, I mean, teachers introducing their students in their classrooms, maybe it would be a great way to include them, to inspire them by these videos that you're mentioning. But then again, I think that for the primary school, we need to subtitle maybe those videos if you know that, or maybe to from teachers to explain what are they about and why is that important and things like that. And also I think that children inspire children, so it might be very useful maybe to have like a call between children from the schools that they did the project, maybe to have a chat with the children from other countries. We did that, this was good, this was fantastic for us. Maybe that would be interesting, because in our group we our teachers and our schools, they have space and they have experience, and some of them a lot of experience with project-based learning, actually, these schools that they're included here, and doing similar projects, but similar projects. But the question was why, how, and why children would be part of this, how to inspire children for them to feel that this is needed, if you understand me. Mm-hmm. So I think that this could help.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And on the project that developed this, we had lots of calls between children in the same country, but children abroad as well, sharing their ideas about what they'd done, and then getting to know each other and just learning about what it's like to live in the different countries. So yes, I agree.
Yeah, that also.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be interesting, like a peer inspiration. Or maybe we can talk about that later, but it came from the conversation that this might be useful, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think, and as well, you can talk about it with project partners in each country, and then hopefully we can make some cross-country international connections as well. Okay, great. So, Katrina?
So we're now going to go on a break for the next 10 minutes. And if you can come back on time, and we will see you soon. So welcome back, everyone. We've finished lab stage 1, and we're now moving on to lab stage 2. So stage 2 is focused on the Sustainable Development Goals and the importance of social innovation. The second stage aims at giving the methodology and the context of sustainability challenges to the participants, thus enabling them to understand the importance of sustainable development and social innovation. We are now going to show you a video called Nations United, Urgent Solutions for Urgent Times. It's a really powerful and moving video. And this video helps introduce students to the Sustainable Development Goals. You're going to see 1 minute, 9 seconds of this video. It's actually 34 minutes long. And I think it's important that if you are going to show your students the whole video, that you personally watch it yourself on your own beforehand, because it is extremely emotional. But we show you the 1.9 minutes because it gives a flavour of what the SDGs are all about.
This is a very important story. The important story. In the midst of COVID-19, it's an historic opportunity to look at the facts of the world as it is, and then to focus on the solutions to some of our greatest problems. In the 75 years since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can overcome them.
It's a myth that each and every one of us doesn't have the ability to change the world dramatically and quickly. There have been enormous shifts in power and behavior to the benefit of all humanity, and it can happen again.
Nelson Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." These are some of the things that must be done.
So as you can see, that video is really powerful. It gives me the shivers every time I watch it, and I think I've watched it about 10 times. So I would really suggest you watch that on your own, 34 minutes long, because it is really, really powerful. So we're going on to the next activity. And the next activity is for your students to understand and get to know the Sustainable Development Goals. So it's an activity you actually do with the students. You will need in your welcome pack pages 11 and 12, either as a printout or on your device. We'll just give you a moment to find this resource. Okay, so what you're going to do basically is match the sentences that come up on the next slide to the actual Sustainable Development Goal. So, for example, A, working together to achieve the goals is Sustainable Development Goal number 17, which is partnerships for goals. So in effect, what you're doing is you're matching the Sustainable Development Goal with this sentence, and it helps the students get to understand what each one is all about. This slide is going to stay on during your next breakout session, where you're going to be with your colleagues from your own country, so you can discuss the ideas together. You're going to have 10 minutes to discuss the ideas in your breakout room, and then when you come back, we'll go through the answers with you. Mada, will you please open the breakout rooms? So welcome back, everybody. I hope you found that that activity or discussion really useful. It's great to do that with students, and it gives them a better understanding of what each SDG is. So we're now going to go through the answers, and I'll go through these with you. So we've done obviously A, working together to achieve goals of 17. B, everyone has enough food, is SDG 2. Everybody is equal, SDG 10. No one has to drink dirty water, SDG 6. Not throwing away clothes after wearing them once is SDG 12. Helping the planet stay healthy is SDG 13. Looking after sea life, SDG 14. Keeping people healthy physically and mentally is SDG 3. Fairness for men and women is SDG 5. Cities that respect the planet, SDG 11. No one has to work in bad / dangerous conditions, SDG 8. Looking after animals and planets, SDG 15. Everyone feels safe, SDG 16. No one lives in dirty, dangerous, unhealthy conditions, SDG 1. Everyone has the opportunity to go to school for a better life, SDG
4. SDG 4. Everyone, country, city has good facilities to take care of people, 9. No pollution, 7. Tiana put a good comment in the chat about, yes, oh good, about we have learned that the Sustainable Development Goals are overlapping, so maybe there are more answers to one question, sentence, smiley face. Yes, very, very true. They all interconnect and overlap. Tiana, I don't know if you want to say anything more about that from the conversation that came out of your group, or anyone. No problem if not.
No, we were, I mean, yes, I would like to say something. We mentioned that these SDGs are also the way that the children project should work out. I mean, combining different SDGs in their projects. That's what we were talking earlier, and now we had one bug. I think in every country, city has good facility to take care of people. So I think that we put there 11.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, that's what we were talking about. Is it that or 9? But never mind, it's clear.
Yeah, it's true. It's they all do overlap. It was quite difficult to write descriptions of what they are, but hopefully it gets you and it will get your colleagues and students knowing a bit better the Sustainable Development Goals, because we didn't know them before. My colleagues at school and the schools we've worked with have never heard of them. So I think it's an important step to know that the social innovation projects are linked to these important goals that are known around the planet. Okay, thank you for that. So now we have Alex Theodoridis with us, who is our second guest speaker. He is from a social innovation in Greece called Boroume, which means we can. And Alex was involved in the project that developed social innovation education. Like when Louise was talking, please do write any questions in the chat or unmute because Alex is very friendly and nice and happy to answer your questions. And we're going to hear about his social innovation. Hi, Alex.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Very nice.
Oh,
nice
good.
to meet
Nice
all
to
you
see
guys.
you. Yeah, it's great. So thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you.
Pleasure.
So we're helping teachers who are new to social innovation education understand what social innovation is. So would you first tell us about Boroume, about your social innovation, please?
Yeah. So hi, I'm Alex. I'm one of the founders of Boroume. It's an NGO in Greece that deals with saving food, reducing food waste, and increasing food donations all over the country. So yeah, we started exactly 10 years ago from the simple fact that we were just very ordinary people that had their jobs and everything, but were observing around them a very, very big amount of food being wasted right at the same time where Greece was going through its worst economic crisis in decades. So that was, you were observing food waste right at the same time when you would hear and see more and more people facing food insecurity and seeking food assistance in various places, soup kitchens, social pantry shops, etc. So this really struck us and it really made no sense for us. And we said we need to do something. And that's very important. That's why I'm highlighting it. If you're talking about social innovation, for me, it always starts with somebody being sensitive to, I don't know, environmental or social issues and, observing something in the environment around them, in the society around them, that doesn't feel well. That's it's just wrong, and I'll put it as simple as that. It feels wrong. So for us, it just felt wrong, and we simply wanted to do something about it. We had no money, no budget, no business plan, no nothing. We just had a lot of passion and a lot of drive and urge to reverse this very negative oxymoron of the simultaneous existence of food waste and people looking for food, very often in the same neighborhood, mind you. So yeah, that's how we started. And we started by developing a very innovative direct model of food saving, which was never done before. We found out that later. We didn't know that at the time. We just, created something that was, it was dealing with the circumstances in Greek cities and Greek society. So, and it made really sense for us not to have any logistics because from our observations, that was the largest chunk of the cost of food saving. So we said, hey, we live in a modern world, so why not do it as easy as possible for a food donor to save and donate food? And by as easy as possible, we mean that just tell us, I have this and I want to give it. And then we would coordinate, and we still do that, actually, coordinate the pickup of that food donation close by a charity that actually needs that food. So as simple as that, we created this food saving model, and we started with 12 small cheese pies. Called Tiropides for all our Greek friends or all our friends here, because I see Greek names, that's why I'm saying it. And I see Balkan names, and I'm pretty sure they've been to Greece, so they also know what Tiropita is. So we started with 12 Tiropites, and 10 years after that, I'm sitting here in front of you, and I can tell you that we have saved and offered more than 55 million portions of food, and that is in a country with 10 million. So with an average rate of cost to impact of around, right now, for every €1 of operational cost, we save and donate more than 60 portions of food, which is simply unbeatable if you consider that a soup kitchen needs €2 for one portion of food. Why is that? Because it's very direct, very effective, very quick, very fast.
Picture at the bottom,
very low
competence
cost
number
from our
12,
side because we
reflective
just
learning.
have a very, very small office in Athens, and we can
in the middle,
coordinate
7,
food
collective
deliveries and food
efficacy,
pickups
so working
everywhere
well
in
together
Greece,
as a
and we do
group.
that every day. So that's how we started, and then
Below
we started,
that,
you know, building on that
8,
and
social
creating
resilience.
food saving programs at every stage of the food chain, from the field and the orchard to the farmers markets, which are omnipresent in Greece in every neighborhood every week. Then to the food saving program I just described,
Last
and then
one,
that's our first pillar of
competence
actions,
11,
and then our second pillar of
social
actions
communication.
is basically everything we
And
do regarding
we all see
awareness,
things
because
differently, of
at
course,
some point
and
we
just
realized,
like
okay,
the
it's very nice
Sustainable
that we save
Development
food.
Goals,
That's very
there
nice.
were overlaps.
We are very good at that, but that's not the
So
point. The point is to
doesn't matter
work on the prevention
if had different
of the creation
answers.
of food
It's
waste.
just to
That's
get
what is
to
important for the
know
environment, and
what
that's
these
where
competencies mean
we're
a bit.
shifting more and more of our resources.
So,
and this is
we
where we've created
recommend
all our awareness raising programs, our
3
educational
or
model.
4
We've talked to more than 23,000 children
with your
all over
students
Greece
for one project,
regarding food waste and
and
social
you could
solidarity.
choose these.
We have created the National
based
Voluntary
on what
Agreement
you know, think
for
about
food
what your
waste.
students
We call
need
it
to
the
develop,
Alliance for the Reduction of
or
Food Waste
you
in
could
Greece. We are
decide these with your
coordinating that.
students.
And that's
It might be a
basically
good way
the who
to
is
get
who
to
of
help them
the
understand what they
stakeholders
mean.
regarding food waste in Greece.
We have
starting from the
developed
Minister
some
of Environment, which
resources
has
for
given
you to help
its
assess the
auspices on this.
progress of your
The largest
students
food
in the
companies,
competencies.
academia, startups,
2
civil
examples
society,
are in your welcome
everybody
pack.
who has a stake on that.
The first
And
one,
our last program,
like
this is also very innovative because it hasn't been done in many places around the world, by the way. It was an idea that we had a few months ago to create a certification regarding food waste. So we partnered up with TÜV Austria. It's a big company that certifies people and companies all over the world. So we told them, you know, why not create a certification for food waste? Because this will be a fantastic incentive for companies to do that and reduce their food waste along the way. So this is the last thing we've done.
4,
in a very small nutshell in the 10 years.
For example, competence number 1, vision for a better world. That's incredible. I mean, level 0 means what you do, but it's just incredible to be reminded about it. A better place. Oh, and so did you say it started as the communication bridges? So you did you see the beginner users and the end users, or were you just the communication in between?
Absolutely. At the beginning, we were actually talking to everybody because nobody knew us, obviously, and we started. The
second resource,
building it up step by step.
Looks like
this is what I think is the healthiest way to do that. And at the beginning, seriously, we didn't have any serious business plan. We just had a lot of passion to do that on our free time, right? So everything evolved very organically.
If they don't know
a joke I say very often is that the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, which is by far the most important philanthropic foundation in Greece,
they mark the orange box.
And they came to us and said, we have been observing you for a year. Why don't you send us a proposal to
these resources
support
can be adapted to your school?
And we were so naive at the beginning. And we said, oh, really? We could do that? And the answer was, well, you're called Borume. You're called we can, right? So obviously you can. It's a running joke and insider joke for us. So
for discussion and reflection
for the first years, it sounds really weird, but for an NGO to say that. But we didn't even fundraise. We were so obsessed of becoming better and better and more effective in saving food and you know, getting more food donors on board, and companies, supermarkets, you know, pastry shops, event managers, universities, anything you can imagine, seriously. And
now we're at the end
so
of the simulation of stage 2,
and the impact was there. It was visible for everyone because what we do is very
just
visible.
like we had after stage
and we were,
1.
you know, we are supporting more than 400 charities all over Greece.
Now you have
in
time,
80 places in Greece, so it is visible. And you know,
breakout rooms,
media loved us at the beginning, so they gave us a lot of free time to promote it as well. So you know, we didn't even have time to fundraise; it was just coming on itself. But of course, I'm I'm
On
joking,
page 10
to the sense
of
that
the
we were
welcome
very,
pack,
very careful
there's
and
there's a lab
being
planner.
very
We've
careful
already done
financially,
stage one.
not
This is now
spending more than
reviewing stage 2.
we had money. And
So just focus on
it
stage
is important
2,
because
going
I've
into the
seen
breakout
many
room,
startups and many
because
NGOs
that's the stage we've
start
just done.
very powerful, and then
We've written
become
some activities already down for you.
they start
So
all
make
these
notes
fantastic
on how you
fireworks,
would
and
do
then they
this
lose
in
track of
school,
what is
and
really
think
the
about
essence of
how
what
the
they do. And then
activities
very
might
often,
work with your colleagues
because what
and
we do
students.
is funding, it
You
can be
also have
very,
the
very
opportunity to
dynamic.
discuss
You can have
with your
1
project
year
partner
cover
in
3
your
times
breakout
your cost,
rooms,
and then the next
as
year
well as your
not even
colleagues
1/3.
from
So
your countries.
you need to be careful financially.
Again, the link to the welcome pack is in the chat should you need it.
Yeah, and this is what we do. We did, I think. So
Can I
that's why
interrupt,
we're here
Katrina?
after
Sorry.
10 years.
I just wanted
probably.
to say
I
that
don't
for
know.
stage
Or maybe we
2
were
on
just
the
lucky.
lab planner,
I don't know. Seriously.
it says
No,
play
I think,
video
oh,
of the
but I mean,
social
your
innovator.
passion and everything you've
And
like achieved so far
we
shows
have
it. I don't think it was
videos
just
made
luck. I think
by
it was having
Alex that you
you
can
and
use,
your
and the
colleagues
link
involved.
to them
And
is
so
in the
were you
email I
working
will
on
send you
your
after the
previous jobs
training.
when you started this?
Sorry,
And
Katrina.
doing this in your free time?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely,
Katrina,
absolutely.
could you
We
begin
did,
from
and
you have about 15
a
minutes,
funny
please.
personal story that I have,
Yep.
and Greeks
Sorry, my
in the,
internet's unstable.
in
I
the
do
forum will
apologise.
relate to that.
Okay, so we've got 15 minutes
I was actually
to
working
discuss your
in
ideas and
politics at the
practices.
time
If you have
in
any
the Parliament of
questions,
Greece.
Oh, really?
there is an
And I
ask
had
for
a
help
permanent
symbol,
job for
which
life.
is a question
So
mark
this
in a
is
circle.
in Greek public
Click it,
sector. This
and
is
one of us will
regarded
come
like,
into your
I don't know,
breakout
like
room.
the Everest of
Alternatively,
public
you can ask
jobs
questions
somehow.
when you
I
come
never
back
understood
here
why,
together.
to be honest
And
with you,
again, we're going to share
but
ideas
it does.
from
And
your
in
breakout
2013,
room
I left this
discussions
job.
when you come back in
You
with the
can
whole
do that for
group.
5 years with
So, Mada,
taking a
can
no
you open
pay
the breakout
leave,
rooms,
something like
please?
that. I don't know how to say that in English better.
Yeah,
Sorry.
unpaid
So I was
leave,
not
yeah.
getting paid, but I left, but I didn't leave. I still had the job. So it was so dense. Everything that we did in these first years was so
welcome back,
amazing
everybody.
and crazy, and we were running like crazy in the first years. We still do actually, but it's it gets used to that. So after 5 years, the guys from the Greek Parliament called me up and said, "Hello, Mr. Theodoridis, you need to go. You need to get back to your job." I said,
Okay, so I hope everyone found that really helpful.
I didn't even remember where I was. Seriously, I said,
the more
"Who are
ideas
you?"
you share, the more that comes from
Calling
that.
from the Greek Parliament.
I hope you found that really
helpful. I'm not coming back. I don't want to.
So if you would
they
like
didn't
to
let me
share
go.
some
They
of your
didn't seriously. They
ideas,
didn't let me go.
you
They
can
said,
either
"Yeah, you
put
have a
that in the
permanent job
chat,
for life. People would kill for that." I said,
or
"No, please don't let
unmute
anybody
yourself
kill. Just give
and
them
talk
my
to the
job.
rest
I
of
don't
the
want
group.
anybody to get hurt." So and I'm seriously
you a
the
few
first
minutes
Greek to
put something into the
leave
chat.
a permanent job for life from the Greek Parliament.
Wow.
Because he wants to, not because he has to.
Yeah.
That's what they told me. So that's very indicative of if you do what you love and you follow your passion. It sounds like a whiskey commercial. I know. I'm sorry, but it's actually
Katrina,
in my case. It actually came through. And it's exactly like that.
Again,
and I don't miss it for a second. I mean, all the bad energy
and
there
I had an
has been replaced with all the wonderful energy with all the people that I have around me every day right
was
now.
about
I mean, from
introduction of the
charities, from
Sustainable
people who want
Development
to
Goal,
donate,
and
fantastic volunteers,
one of
magnificent
my
people that
participants,
just beautiful
which was
people that want to help
a
each
headmaster
other
of
and
the
other
school,
people who are in
she
need. So this is
was
the
going
exact opposite
to
what I
actually
was
put
having
a
every day
request to the
in the
Pedagogical
Greek
Institute.
Parliament. I don't want to diss the Greek Parliament, but it's the truth. I mean,
for the teachers to be informed.
Some people with not great energy
like
in there, so
formal
I don't miss it for a
training
second.
for the Sustainable Development Goals.
Wow. And so,
then
I mean,
another
teacher, in social innovation education, we're
the
trying
Pedagogical
to give
Institute
young
in Cyprus
people
has
this
actually
wonderful
produced.
drive and passion,
they're not ready
but
yet,
the competence as well and the capability
lots of
to
activities
do what you do. And
on
you
the
said
Sustainable
that at the beginning
Development
you didn't know what you were doing, and that might be the same for a lot of the students who begin this.
Then
they
another
might not
teacher
know
mentioned
about any problems
the
at all,
videos
and then maybe
produced
when
by
they
the
find out
Commission,
about it, they want to do something, but they don't know how. So we're
explain
helping them with these projects to do that. And what kind of
the Sustainable Development
things
Goals,
do you think
and
are really
it can
important
be
for
basically they
students
can
or
be
anyone
another
wanting to
resource
get involved in this
for
to need to be able to do or
for
for the
Like,
teachers.
what have you
basically.
found as you've done your
Yeah.
social innovation
Share
that you
that,
learned
share that
along
in
the way?
with the group then.
Yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
the first
Yeah,
thing,
put
the
that
first thing,
information on the
especially when we talk
Facebook
about
group.
children,
It's really good to
is,
know,
you know,
like, because I wouldn't know
to
that. And
instill
this is
in them
Cyprus, isn't it, Christos?
how to put it, a clearer view. I mean, a need to.
I have to admit, I didn't know about the commission's
not
video,
only
so I'm
what
going to
they are
search it
doing
now, and
in
I will
their own
I will
life, in
just
their
post
own
it on
classroom,
Facebook.
but also look outside See what the other people are doing. See what other parts
thanks.
of your city
Did
or
anyone
village
else in
are doing.
different
I don't
groups
know.
have
See
any
what other parts of
information
your
like that that would be
school
really
are
useful
doing.
for us all to know?
See what other people, other classmates are doing. Even that, I mean, to become more aware that they are part of a grander scheme of things. They're not alone on this world. We are a social animal, as Aristotle said 2,500 years ago. So we need to be aware that, you know, we thrive in communities, in society. So in order for the society to thrive, we need to look for each other.
Yeah,
I mean, we need to take care of each
sort
other.
of
And if you are
discussed
blessed
during
enough, like I've been my whole life,
session was not
and if you're blessed enough and everything was easy
you know,
for you,
ideas
I mean,
about what to do in
put
this
your
stage,
ass
but
down
more
and
about
see how you
the
can help
whole
the others who have not been
procedure
that blessed.
and,
I mean, I just can speak for myself. So
questions that
for
they
me,
might
that started
have, and
that
something
started
that
in school
came
because, you
out,
know,
and
seriously,
I think
I
that
was observing
it
how
should be
blessed I was
mentioned
with
during
everything, and I
the
said,
second
okay,
day of the
that's
training.
nice. I'm having a
Has
great
to
life,
do
but
with
that's not
what
what
happens
others are doing.
if
So
students
you know,
want to do
should
projects
you feel
that,
bad
you
about
know,
this? No, you shouldn't feel
need
bad about this. But what could you do?
donors
The best
or
thing you can do
money for
is to
those
take all your
projects to be
skills and
fully
everything that you've
accomplished
been
at the
blessed
end.
with, and you
What
feel
I've mentioned, of
that
course,
you've
is
been
that
blessed with,
what matters
and
is
put
the
it to
process that
good use.
students
Okay,
undergo. So it's very important
yeah,
that
and by
they're
good use, I mean
they are
help
gaining
others.
a lot
Yeah, as
throughout
simple
the
as that.
process.
And
But
if
we
that
all know
means
that
that you do something
students,
to
you know,
improve the
want to do
environment
the
in your
want
city,
to
you're also
look
helping
at a
others.
macro
If
level
that
on the
means that
end
you're gonna
results, so
you know,
that
like
they,
we
you
have
know, they
projects
get this
where
feeling
kids
of
were very sensitive
enthusiasm at the
in
end.
the accessibility for
But
people with
yeah,
wheelchairs,
maybe
for
it's
example.
something that we
You're
need to
also
think
helping
about
other people,
during the
right?
second
So that is
day
a good
training
example. Or
about,
people,
you know,
you know, in the Greek
potential
school in Thessaloniki, where, you know,
solutions
the one
to
school that we
such
had was very close to
issues.
the school for blind children,
Yeah,
right?
good idea.
So they
And
did
it
many
could
things
also
to
be
help
very useful for the
children,
local
which
capacity building
obviously were not
workshops,
as
because
blessed
I
as they
imagine
were,
that,
because
yeah,
simply put, they
it's
didn't have
different
their
in each
vision,
country,
right?
so it might be something that needs to be looked
that's
at
as
on a
simple as
local
that,
level
you know,
as well.
open their horizons.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
you know,
Okay, we'll have
that
a
can be
teacher
done
as
by
well from
teachers, of
Spain who
course,
is
but also
involved
by
in the
parents.
previous project that
That
developed
is
social
obvious.
innovation education.
This is how it begins.
And she was involved with
Observation
people in her community
and
on
having
a wider
a feeling that, you
level,
know,
so she will be
you're
able
not
to give us some
alone in
ideas
this.
about how they found funding.
And the funny thing is, all the research shows that people who are very
Anything
active
else
in
from
their
other groups
community
to share?
are
Thank
the
you, Anna.
ones that have the lowest probability of feeling lonely. And I'm not putting this
People want
mildly.
an early
You know,
finish.
I'm half German, and I've lived in Germany. In Germany, 1/3 of Germans
problem if not,
state that they are feeling lonely. This is a social disease. I mean, and 1/3,
okay, I'm
mainly
going to
because of that,
carry on then.
are
Of course,
facing
we're
some
here
kind of
next week, and
depression.
we're
This
here
is
for
the
2
modern,
years, or however long
big
it is, so we don't have
health
to answer
issue in our
everything
societies,
today.
right? So we
So
shouldn't take this lightly.
some preparation
So,
then
yeah,
for
this is
day
how it
2,
starts. This is how it starts,
which
for
is
sure.
on, yeah, I agree.
And then the second thing is,
Sorry,
obviously,
I'm just going to check to see if there are any questions in the
never
chat.
say to yourself
Tiana,
that
we
you're
can
not good
share
enough to do
activities
something.
about circular
Because
economy in high
I've
schools that
faced
we
that
did
in
with
many schools where,
UNDP,
you know, we would discuss about things, and you know,
some
I see
videos
Joanna
about
so
climate
many times
action that
we
we
were
did
with
with
Joanna in some
WWF.
schools, and you know, we would hear
Tiana,
that, you know,
is that to
we would tell them, what don't you like?
Facebook,
What is
the
something
teachers'
that you would
Facebook
love
group?
to change, to improve
That would be great.
around you? And then, you know, we would say something, and very often the kids would go, yeah, but that is too big for us. That is too far away for us. So the second thing is to instill in kids the belief
And also every
that they're
teacher
capable
that
of
is part of the
changing
Facebook group
their
can add, you
lives
know,
and the
any
environment
resource
in
that they
which
may
they're living.
find relevant
This
to
sounds
that.
also very like
Because I
like
can
very
tell
plausible and
that
very like a whiskey
Maria
commercial, but
is
you know,
also
there's a lot
mentioning
of
that a
truth
lot
in
of
that.
teaching materials and games
How you can
sustainable
do that,
development on
you know,
europa.eu.
start
So
small.
maybe you could add,
Give them small
you know, that
projects
on the
and
Facebook
small
page,
wins.
Maria.
Give them something small to
Brilliant.
begin
Thank
with,
you,
and then
Maria.
when they see,
And
hey,
thank you,
we achieved
Tiana.
this. We are kids, and we achieved this. Actually, we did it.
Okay,
We accomplished a change in something around us, something nobody done before
some
us.
preparation
so maybe
for
we are
day
capable
2.
of doing something bigger,
This is also written on page 4 in your welcome pack.
At some
so
point,
you
you
don't need
have
to
Greta
copy this.
Thunberg creating Fridays
So
for
to
Future.
prepare for the activities that we'll
Yeah,
do
that's
on
the end
day
goal.
2.
That's the
First,
that's the
when
Champions
you're
League
out in your
of what we're talking
community,
about.
in your school,
Yeah.
where you live or
And so
work,
when you go in,
please
you
look
mentioned your
around
educational
to
program. So I
see
love the
what
fact that you were
social
thinking about
issues you
solving the
think
problem
could be
or addressing the
improved.
problem.
Because
But then
next
also
time
thinking
we move on to the next stage of a co-creation lab? Stop the problem stage 3 being a problem in the first place. So what do you analysing and identifying children about in Greek schools social issues for your social innovation
Oh wow!
project?
Yeah, well, it depends on the age. So we started preschool. We actually started preschool because we have a wonderful
checklist on your lab
children's
planner.
book author, a friend of ours who
what
actually wrote
you need to organize to be
a
able
beautiful
to
book
implement your own
about what we're doing.
lab
So we're using
and be ready
this.
to share your ideas or queries.
Yes. And then for
Please
every 2
email us if
classes
you
of
need
elementary school,
anything.
so first,
You'll
second,
have our
third, and fourth,
emails
fifth,
in a
and sixth.
moment.
Every 2 classes we change the interactive
so you will have time at the beginning of the
things that we
second
do.
day
It varies a lot, so it always changes with
talk
age.
to colleagues in your
And then
countries
in
and the whole group.
gymnasium in Greece, it's
Talk to all of
7th,
us
8th,
about
9th class.
what you've thought about
we
now
move on
and
into
the
more
second
discussions.
day on
You know,
how
we show
you
them,
would
we try to
prepare
incentivize them
to
with
run a
some videos, with
co-creation
some
lab
facts,
in your school.
and we go into discussions
from the
because what is really
preparation
important,
phase
and something that I've
checklist
learned from
in your
Nemesis,
lab
by the way,
planner
from our project,
would you do and how would you
is
do
that,
it?
you know,
It's so helpful
if
for
you
us to share
don't,
this practice
if you
and learn
don't
from each other.
co-create something,
Please be ready
and it
to
sounds,
talk.
you know,
We are
like
so
I'm reading out of
interested
our
and
textbook,
all
but
friends
it's
here,
true.
so
I
we're really
actually
keen to
believe in
hear
that,
what
and
your
I've seen
ideas
it
are
in
and
action.
help in
So I
any way
believe
we
in this
can.
magic because I call it magic. So if you bring children into that, and if you make them feel that they are part of
we will
this,
chat with another teacher
it's
from
magic.
Spain who
It's
is
magic what
involved in that
happens.
project.
You see
So if you
children
have
transform, and you
that
see
you
them
think of
become
that you would like to
stakeholders
ask them,
of what they want to
have
do,
it
and
ready,
it's
and
so
we
beautiful
can put
to
it in
see.
the
And
chat, or we can ask her.
I know a little bit
you might
thing
have some more
about
specific
the
ideas
schools
now
in the
we've
UK.
begun
They're
the
a little bit
training.
different. In Greece, you know, we're lacking behind in this. You know, it can be very
we're finishing a bit
stiff,
early. I don't
what
know
we're doing.
if
It
any
has been
partners
changing
want
for
to
sure
say
in the past
anything
years,
before we finish.
but we are still a long way. We should, you know, we need to give schools and teachers so much more freedom
just one thing
into doing
that
stuff.
I think it's
and if
quite
we do that,
important
and if we
during
empower
the second day of the
teachers in
training,
our country,
if
then we will
everyone
be at
could
a
have a
much better
look at the
position. That's
resources
my personal belief.
at the
I
welcome
agree for
pack,
the UK
you know,
also.
beforehand,
and
so that we all
we've got
know
actually quite a
about
lot of
what
questions
we're
coming through in the
talking
chat.
so
Joanna, do you want to
that we
start
can have
reading
fruitful discussions
first
in
one?
the breakout rooms,
Thanks.
because
Before that,
I know
I want
that
to say
some
hi to my
teachers
favorite
arrived
person.
later. I know that it's difficult because it's Friday afternoon. But
Friday
if you
afternoon,
could just have a look
we
beforehand,
could do
it
a
would
lot
be
of different
easier for
things. You're
everyone, you
just
know, to
like
follow
a
up
ray
with
of
the
sun
discussion
coming
and
in,
have
you know?
fruitful,
And
you know,
I had a shitty day,
discussions and
trust me.
interactions among
Yeah, I
us.
know that.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Joanna. So please
And a
do
shitty
watch.
week on that.
If you didn't see all
It
the
doesn't matter. It doesn't
training
matter.
today,
It's all
or you
good.
weren't here for all the training,
right,
or you
so,
were
starting
had
with
to leave
some
for a bit of it,
questions. So I've added
please watch the
your
recording,
website,
which we will send you
of Borum in the
afterwards,
chat. So
and
for everyone
also
thank you.
do the activities
how
that you
schools are
have in the
involved in
resource
this
bank that we
great
give instructions for in the
idea, and if you
recording,
could
so that,
elaborate
like
more on
Joanna
how
says, you are
schools were involved in
ready and you
this.
have some
Oh, yeah.
ideas about
So
what we're talking
I said a
about,
few
and
things
we can
about that,
share
about
some
preschool.
practice and
So,
ideas.
but I can tell you more. So,
yeah,
2 years ago,
Yeah,
before
and
the
also
pandemic,
don't be afraid, you know,
my
to
son
tell
was
us
4
your
years old,
experience in
and he was
activities
in
that you
preschool.
are
So,
already doing.
because I knew the owner
That
of
would
that
be
school very
fantastic,
well,
because
we just knocked it out of the park.
we
So
want to
we did what we normally do,
you
and
know,
we put it on
to
steroids.
better
So
the
unfortunately,
activities
I don't have
that
the
we
pictures
already
to
have,
show
to
you,
add
which
more
would be so amazing.
activities
So what we did
that
was,
are happening in
first
your
of all,
countries, in your schools.
we talked to the teachers of kindergarten and pre-kindergarten, so 5-year-olds and
Any other
4-year-olds,
You don't
in
have
order
to. We just don't want to cut everyone off
inform the
before
teachers
everyone's
first,
had a
and let them know
chance to say
about how
something.
important it is to talk about food waste, right? In all its aspects. So that was the first.
Just a big thank you to Jen
So
and Katrina
that,
for organizing this.
We went there. We did our our nice
yes, congratulations,
and
congratulations from
we talked with children and they expressed the questions, and we
me
we had
also
a
from Jen, Katrina, and all partners. I want to thank all the teachers also, and I want to say to them that this is a learning process.
crazy things you can imagine with
social
our teachers. So
innovation
we're not even
methodology
involved in that
developed
stage.
already
So
Horizon project,
but we
which
consulted
was
them.
very
So what
big,
they did was
tested
they
in
went to the
many schools around
local
Europe.
supermarket.
But
I'm
this,
talking about 5-year-olds, right? Where they went to the local
project
farmers
now,
market.
Change 18
And
schools.
they were asking the farmers,
You can consider that this is
the farmers market,
ours and your project.
are
We
people
can all be
buying
engaged
ugly
here
fruits and vegetables, and why
maybe
not they
create
buying? Well,
some
why don't you
meaningful
sell them at a
activities
better
in all
price
your
so
schools,
we can
in
reduce the
those
food
4
waste? And
countries.
you had farmers,
And we are all eager
the
to
farmers market people
cooperate
going
with you,
who
and
are
feel free
these
to
kids, right?
contact us
So
and your national ambassador.
we did all
I'm
these
saying
things. They
again,
did a lot of,
Christos
they constructed a
for
lot of
Cyprus,
beautiful
Madalina for
things,
Romania,
like a
Uros and Diana for
refrigerator, a
Serbia.
magic refrigerator
And for
that
Croatia, unfortunately, now we
would
don't have
always save
someone, but
food
it's
and
Christina,
magically send
who
everything
will
that
be in
this
touch with all
family
Croatian
would not
teachers
eat anymore to the people who
for
need
all
it,
projects
and
duration.
amazing stuff, seriously.
And we are here, and we are
another
waiting
thing that
for
I
you
asked them to
next
do
in
that really
2 weeks from now. Please don't
they really like that.
forget
I
us.
said, you know,
Okay.
I really
Yes,
feel
don't
bad
forget
about
us.
these
Thanks,
fruits
Teo.
and vegetables
So
that
we
they
have
don't have the
mine and
shape like
Katrina's
all the other
contact
fruits and
details
vegetables, and
here.
they feel
Also,
bad about
Ioana
these
and
fruits.
Teo's
They feel really bad
emails.
about it. So
And in the
and people
email I
don't
send
buy
you
them, and
afterwards
they
with the
don't
recording
eat
and
them,
all
and they feel really
the
bad about that
resources
because
and
you know a
information.
cucumber exists in life to be eaten. So
All
they
the
feel really
project
bad about
partners
it. So
will be copied
you know what
into
we
that,
will
so
do?
you will have
You will
all our
create
emails. And
create
please,
posters
of course, the
and
local project partners are
placards
there
and all
to
these things,
support
and
you.
we will
But we're
demonstrate
here
for
as
the
well
rights
in the
of
UK
ugly fruits and
and Greece, so
vegetables.
please do get in touch if you want
And the
anything at all.
5-year-olds went berserk. They loved it.
We will
And seriously,
actually
there is a
be
video
here, Katrina
with
and me,
us
for another 15
marching
minutes if anyone
through the
wants
school
anything.
for the rights of
Um,
ugly fruits and vegetables. So
yeah, otherwise, I'd
that's an
like to
example of
say
how
thank
you
you
play
so much
and
for
you
giving up
take
your
them in
Friday to
and
be
you know they
here
have
with
great
us.
fun. And at the end of the day,
Especially as it's so
they
late
seriously
in
they
your
still
countries.
remembered. I mean, I'm meeting some of
And
these kids
we're
in
really,
different places, and they
looking
still
forward
remember
to
these things.
seeing
So
the
that was one thing.
projects
The
and
other thing was,
supporting you with them
I
and
said before, right?
creating some
Involve
Alex
them
type
and
magic, I
bring
think.
them in. You know, make them be responsible for
guys,
themselves.
we'll
So
see you
what
in
we
2
did was
weeks.
at the end of these 2
See you in 2
weeks,
weeks.
Goodbye,
on a
everybody.
Sunday,
Thank you.
we said,
Bye.
okay,
Bye.
you will be responsible for bringing to the school on that Sunday, together with your parents, all the fruits and vegetables that were left over. And you will see what great things we can do with that. So we had 4 different cooking stations where the kids were chopping up fruits and vegetables. They were creating smoothies and soups and fruit salads and everything you can imagine. So they were eating together with their parents. So we were educating parents as well, by the way, all the stuff that otherwise they would have thrown away. So we did banana breads and everything you can imagine. Wonderful stuff. You know, we put some music there, had a great party, did the demonstration. Auf Wiedersehen. And it was beautiful. So that is an example of how you know you can knock it out of the park. It doesn't always, we don't always do that. That was, you know, a special occasion. But you know, on all the other things, yeah. Once what we did with kids in like teenagers, because we wanted them to be even more involved, was that was with a private school in Athens. And they were really keen, and we observed that, you know, they were restless. They didn't want just to discuss about it. They were 15-year-olds. They wanted to do something about it. So I loved that. I loved that. So what we did is we sent them out basically in their neighborhoods, always in coordination with Borume, because we have already many donors. So we didn't want them to go to places where people already were donating. So they went out for a week, and they became the ambassadors of Borume and saving food, and they talked to all the all the potential food donors in their neighborhood, and you know, actually inform them of how easy it is with the help of Borume to actually save the food and become part of this food saving and donating system. In 1 week, these kids were responsible for over 2,000 portions of food that were saved and donated in local charities. And when we communicated that back to them, that's all that mattered. Seriously.
Yeah, that's great, because earlier we had a question that was about giving rewards, and these sound like rewards. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
For everyone
Absolutely.
involved. Yeah,
absolutely.
Ioana,
For younger
yeah.
kids, we have small magnets.
Oh.
For some reason, don't ask me. I cannot answer this. For some reason, magnets are the thing. So, when we give them magnets at the end of the session, it's like, yeah, no. And they put them on the refrigerator, and it reminds them on the refrigerator, and it reminds them of, cold borume when you have something left over.
Great. Any others, Joanna?
Well, some compliments for Alex. Incredible work. Congratulations to your organization. You're an inspiration of innovative ideas come about with such a social impact. This is from Vaso from Cyprus. And also Madalena from Romania. Such an inspiration. Thank you, Alexander. Great takeaways. Start small, gain confidence by doing, work with your community, have a positive attitude, and have fun, and many more.
Oh yeah, so, the last one is the most important. If you don't have fun in what you're doing, you're doomed. Sooner or later, you're gonna hate what you're doing, hate yourself, hate everybody around you, and nobody likes that, right? So don't do that.
Exactly. So what about an advice to teachers? What would you advise them, like a takeaway from this session? I mean, for them implementing the social innovation education model.
Be brave. That's what I would say. Be brave and be, don't have small goals. Be ambitious. Kids, I don't know why, but when we grow up, for some reason that I cannot explain, and I still haven't found the answer to that, for some reason, we tend to underestimate the capabilities of kids. For sure. I truly believe that. And we don't have the time to tell you all the stories that I have done that. And I have, turned to myself and said, wow, I mean, what the wisdom you get from kids, if you are open and willing to listen, and that's the tricky part, right? It's amazing. So be brave, trust your children, have them being involved from day one. From our experience with Nemesis, that was the biggest challenge probably for teachers, because and I don't blame teachers, by the way, for that. I blame the system out of which teachers have come out, right? Because it can be very rigid, it can be very mundane. So very often, and I'm talking about Greece now, I feel that, as I said before, we don't empower teachers. We don't give them the freedom to do stuff. So they have a lot of pressure. The older the kids, the greater the pressure and the heavier the system. That's what I feel. So with 5-year-olds, you can play Tarzan. It doesn't matter. So the older they become, the more pressure teachers have to follow a certain rule book, a certain system, a certain curriculum that they need to finish at the end. So they don't have freedom to inspire kids. And if you ask me, I mean, teachers should only do that, nothing else, inspire kids. All the knowledge is out there. I mean, we're 2021. They can find everything in one small phone. So, but inspiration, this is the diamonds of the school system. This is where we should focus, and go back to really. I say very often, teachers with a capital T, like real teachers, are the ones that, transform children, and they instill in them the belief that they can do anything. Mm-hmm. Will they do anything? That doesn't matter. The belief that they can do anything is what matters. And that will give them a higher probability that they will achieve a certain percentage of, or everything that they want to. I mean, that's how it starts. Jen, I've told you this before. In the many years that we know each other, everybody that I've met in my crazy life that has done something really worthy, at some point, very often a teacher inspired this kid to become that and give them the confidence that they are worthy and they can do amazing things. It only needs one person to trust you in your life, and that makes it creates wonders, right? And we've seen that.
We have, and you're right. I think we really social innovation education really gives a space where we can do that, because you're right. I mean, I'm in the UK, and I think from what I know, our education system is more flexible, but we still find it very structured. And you're right. I used to teach Spanish and French, so the most I knew about my students was how well they could say animals in Spanish. And that's not really me getting to know them, I couldn't inspire them to improve the world whilst trying to teach them 10 types of food, and yeah, but this gives you that space to communicate with your students on a different level, and get to know them and inspire them and be involved in the world, you know. Yeah, you're totally right.
And it makes all the difference. I mean, because we've talked to so many children, I've seen many examples where, for example, I remember a very well-known private school in Athens, where, and a very good school, by the way, very good then. So we went there once. I remember that it was third graders, right? 8-year-olds, something like that. So I did 4 classes, the 4 third grades in that school. The difference between the classes could have not been bigger. So one class, there was this teacher. I mean, she was saving lives. I mean, she was creating this little scientists and this little explorers, right? And they had huge eyes, and they had questions, and they were energetic and dynamic, and they were asking things, and they were involved in everything. So, and then you have 2 classes which were more or less normal, and then you had the 4th class where the kids were like, you know, it was a graveyard in there. It was, and it really hurted me. But it also showed me that, you know, the teacher is that's why it's probably the most important job you can have in a society, because you transform people, right, for their whole lives. So we shouldn't take this lightly. Actually, so the exact opposite, actually.
No.
If you ask me.
I think some more compliments have come through. Is that right, Joanna? Some more comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, don't say anything about that.
Inspiration for everyone.
I remember when we went to Ioana, when we went to this multicultural school in Thessaloniki. We're talking about the hardest conditions that you can have in a school in the toughest part of Thessaloniki, and there you had this amazing dean as well, sure, but also a teacher, Artemis. I will never forget her. When I left her classroom, and I'm not kidding, seriously, I did this. I sent an email to the Minister of Education in Greece, because it happens that I know her. She was a volunteer of Borume like many years ago, and I wrote to her, this teacher exists there, and me, Alex, as a tax-paying citizen of this country, I want her to be paid 4,000 euros every month, at least, which is like, I don't know how many times the salary, but many, many times the salary of a teacher in Greece. But I said, this woman should have the highest salary in our country. That's what I was saying as a tax-paying citizen, because she was saving lives. Seriously, I mean, what she was, you cannot put it. You can underestimate what she was doing, and she's doing it every day there. Just a role model for me in my life, Artemis, in Thessaloniki.
Oh, thanks, Alex. Wow, it's just been so great talking to you and listening to you, and really reminding me about how great Borume is doing and going, and the great things you are doing. And I think someone wrote in the chat something about you know, how can children be involved? And Joanna has put in the website for Borume, so people can check it out for themselves. I'm sure Alex would be more than happy to talk to anyone.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I don't want to let you go, to be honest, but we have to move on, I'm afraid. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having the honor to speak to all you guys. And I hope you didn't get bored because it's late.
Not at all. Not at all.
Been lifting.
Never. We are never bored with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you. Have a great evening, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Gosh, wow, that was, I think everyone's really buzzing now after that. Wow, gosh, that's just amazing. I don't really want to go on to the next slide because I feel like we're on a high, but yeah, I'm going to watch that back actually now once we get a copy of this. Just really inspiring. So I'm afraid we're going to have to move you on to the next activity, which is called ethical fashion. So this is an activity in your Change Shaping Schools activity bank, and you will do this with your students, and it gets you to think about the impact of fast fashion on the world. So you will discuss this in your groups with colleagues from different countries, and you're going to have 10 minutes in your groups. And then you're now going to go into your room, and then when you come back, we will talk through this. So Madda, please open the breakout rooms. So welcome back. I hope you've had some really good discussions. And we're now going to go on to the next slide related to this. So why does it matter? Here's an explanation of fast fashion, an example of why fashion is one of the highest causes of pollution in the world. To keep up with trends, clothes shops are replicating catwalk fashion. So clothes need to be made quickly, and therefore the material is lower quality. Because people don't wear clothes much before buying new ones to keep up with trends. People wear their clothes and accessories once before they throw them away. Clothes end up in landfill, polluting the planet. This is unsustainable as it's destroying our planet. And this is linked to Sustainable Development Goal number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. Okay, so we're now going to move on to our next activity. This activity gives your students a better idea of what social innovation is all about. You can discuss this in groups, in the same groups that you were just in, and then answers will be shared with the whole group. Now, on this breakout session, you're going to have 8 minutes, and all you need to do is read the sentence, and you need to work out whether these are true or false. And then when you come back into the group, we'll then share the answers with you. Madda, please open the breakout rooms.
Okay.
So welcome back. I'm sure you found that activity really easy, but it's a really, really good one to do with your students and your colleagues as it gets them thinking about all about social innovation. So Jen and I are going to go through the answers with you now. So are the statements below true or false? A social innovation helps people, the planet.
True.
Tries to create an innovative new solution.
True.
Focuses on making money.
False.
Doesn't care about society.
False.
Tries to create a solution to a social problem.
True.
Often involves lots of people working together.
True.
So I hope you got all of those right. We're now going to go on a 10-minute break, but as Theo said earlier, if you can just turn your cameras off and your microphones, and then we will see you back in 10 minutes. So see you shortly. Thank you.
Back everyone to the last part of the training, and thank you so much all for being here, because it's 4:45 in the UK, but I know how late it is in some of the other countries, so there's not long now, and well done, and we appreciate you being here. So in social innovation education, students develop 13 competencies. These are on page 13 in your welcome pack. These were identified by social innovators like Alex as the most essential skills and values that they use when creating and running and being a part of their social innovation. We're going to do an activity to get to know the 13 competencies. The competencies are vision for a better world, 2, responsible and critical thinking, 3, empathy, 4, self-efficacy, and efficacy is how effective you are at doing something. So self-efficacy is how effective you are as an individual in your social innovation. 5, collective and creative problem solving. 6, embracing diversity. 7, collective efficacy, so how effective you are at doing something in a group. 8, social resilience. 9, take the leap for value creation, so do something about that vision. 10, using resources well, including digital ones. 11, social communication. 12, reflective learning. And 13, collaborative planning and democratic decision making. And I think we've heard both social innovator Alex and teacher school leader Louise mention some of these already. So to get to know these, in your welcome pack on page 13, you have the sentences. On page 14 and 15, you have these pictures. These are on page 14, these are on page 15. So you might have overlaps like with the Sustainable Development Goal activity, but you're going to match the competence to the picture. You can write the sentence or the number on paper or on your device. You're going to go into breakout rooms to do this activity so you can talk about it. You will have 10 minutes with colleagues from in your breakout room. And then we will go through the answers as a group. Madda, could you open the breakout rooms, please? Welcome back, everyone. So we're going to go through the answers. They will appear on the screen. So the first picture was competence 3, empathy. Second picture, competence 13, collaborative planning and democratic decision making. Picture 3 was competence 4, self-efficacy. This one, really difficult, was embracing diversity. This picture was competence number 1, vision for a better world. And the last picture, competence 2, responsible and critical thinking. The next page. First picture is competence 9, take the leap for value creation. Then competence 10, using resources well, including digital ones. Picture at the bottom, competence number 12, reflective learning. In the middle, competence 7, collective efficacy, so working well together as a group. Below that, competence 8, social resilience. Competence 5, collective and creative problem solving. Last one, competence 11, social communication. And we all see things differently, of course, and just like the Sustainable Development Goals, there were overlaps. So it doesn't matter if people had different answers. It's just to get to know what these competencies mean a bit. So we recommend using 3 or 4 competencies with your students for one project, and you could choose these based on what you know or think about what your students need to develop, or you could decide these with your students. It might be a good way to help them understand what they mean. We have developed some resources for you to help assess the progress of your students in the competencies. 2 examples are in your welcome pack. The first one looks like this. This is on page 16 and 17 in your welcome pack. This is more detailed and allows students to see their progress through the competencies from level 0, unaware of the competence, to level 4, active participant. For example, competence number 1, vision for a better world, level 0 means they can't think about how the world could be a better place. Level 4, active participant, means they can think about it and talk about it, do something about it. The second resource, which looks like this, is on page 18 in your welcome pack. This is a simpler version where students decide if they don't know the competence at all, they mark the red box. If they know it quite well, they mark the orange box. And if they know it very well, they mark the green box. Both these resources can be adapted to your school and students. Students can complete them themselves, or you can complete them with them, or it can be used for discussion and reflection between students to help assess each other. We will send you these resources digitally, so you can adapt them. They are in the Change Shaping Schools Social Innovation Education Handbook. So now we're at the end of the simulation of stage 2 and moving on to the reflection session, just like we had after stage 1.
Now you have time, as Jen just said, to actually go into your breakout rooms and have time to think on your own and discuss with your colleagues from your country of how you would do stage 2 in your own school. On page 10 of the welcome pack, there's a lab planner. You've already done stage 1. This is now reviewing stage 2. So just focus on stage 2 going into the breakout room, because that's the stage we've just done. We've written some activities already down for you. So make notes on how you would do this in school and think about how the activities might work with your colleagues and students. You also have the opportunity to discuss with your project partner in your breakout rooms, as well as your colleagues from your countries. Again, the link to the welcome pack is in the chat should you need it.
Can I interrupt, Katrina? Sorry. I just wanted to say that for stage 2 on the lab planner, it says play video of the social innovator, and we have videos made by Alex that you can use, and the link to them is in the email I will send you.
Your ideas.
The training. Oh, sorry, Katrina.
Okay.
Okay, Katrina, could you begin from you will have about 15 minutes, please?
Yep.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
my internet's unstable. I do apologize. Okay, so you've got 15 minutes to discuss your ideas and practices. If you have any questions, there is an ask for help symbol, which is a question mark in a circle. Click it and one of us will come into your breakout room. Alternatively, you can ask questions when you come back here together. And again, we're going to share ideas from your breakout room discussions when you come back in with the whole group. So Madda, can you open the breakout rooms, please? Just waiting for everyone to come back into the room. Okay, so I hope everyone found that really helpful, sharing your ideas. The more ideas you share, the more that comes from that. So I hope you found that really helpful. So if you would like to share some of your ideas, you can either put that in the chat or unmute yourself and talk to the rest of the group. I'll give you a few minutes to put something into the chat. Or if any of the partners want to speak on behalf of some of the teachers, if people are still feeling shy.
Yeah, Katrina, I can say something first. Because I had, like, again, it was an interesting discussion, and I had an discussion mostly on stage number 2, which was about introduction of the Sustainable Development Goal, and one of my participants, which was a headmaster of the school, she was going to actually put a request to the Pedagogical Institute for the teachers to be informed, kind of like an official, a formal kind of training for the Sustainable Development Goals. And then another teacher mentioned that the Pedagogical Institute in Cyprus has actually produced, they're not ready yet, but they have produced like lots of activities on the Sustainable Development Goals that they will be shared with schools soon. Then another teacher mentioned about the videos produced by the Commission, which explain basically the Sustainable Development Goals, and it can be basically they can be another resource for the teachers, basically.
We can share that in with the group then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put that information on the Facebook group. It's really good to know, you know, like, because I wouldn't know that. And this is Cyprus, isn't it, Christos?
I have to admit, I didn't know about the Commission's video, so I'm gonna search it now, and I will just post it on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Okay.
Fab, thanks. Did anyone else in different groups have any information like that would be really useful for us all to know? Or anything they wanted to ask about, or?
If I may add something. Yeah, what we've sort of discussed during this session was not you know, ideas about what to do in this stage, but more about the whole procedure, and you know, any questions that they might have. And something that came out, and I think that it should be mentioned during the second day of the training, has to do with what happens if students want to do projects that, you know, need donors or money for those projects to be fully accomplished at the end. What I've mentioned, of course, is that what matters is the process that students undergo. So it's very important that they are gaining a lot throughout the process. But we all know that students, you know, want to look at a macro level on the end results, so that they, you know, they get this feeling of enthusiasm at the end. Yeah, maybe it's something that we need to think about during the second day training, about, you know, potential solutions to such issues.
Yeah, good idea. And it could also be very useful for the local capacity building workshops, because I imagine that, yeah, it's different in each country. So it might be something that needs to be looked at on a local level as well.
Exactly.
Definitely. Okay, we'll have a teacher as well from Spain who is involved in the previous project that developed social innovation education, and she was involved with people in her community on a wider level, so she will be able to give us some ideas about how they found funding. Anything else from other groups to share? Thanks, Joanna. People want an early finish. It's no problem if not, of course. Okay, I'm going to carry on then. Of course, we're here next week and we're here for 2 years or however long it is, so we don't have to answer everything today. So some preparation then for day 2, which is on, sorry, I'm just going to check to see if there are any questions in the chat. Tiana, we can share activities about circular economy in high schools that we did with UNDP and some videos about climate action that we did with WWF. Thanks, Tiana. Is that to the Facebook, the teachers' Facebook group? That would be great.
And also every teacher that is part of the Facebook group can add, you know, any resource that they may find relevant to that. Because I can see now that Maria has also is also mentioning that a lot of teaching materials and games on sustainable development on europa.eu. So maybe you could add, you know, that on the Facebook page, Maria.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Maria. And thank you, Tiana. Okay, I think that's all the comments. Yeah, okay. So some preparation for day 2. This is also written on page 4 in your welcome pack, so you don't need to copy this. So to prepare for the activities that we'll do on day 2, first, when you're out in your community, in your school, where you live or work, please look around to see what social issues you think could be improved, because next time we will move on to the next stage of a co-creation lab, stage 3, where you are analysing and identifying local social issues for your social innovation project. Second, look at the preparation phase checklist on your lab planner. Think about what you need to organise to be able to implement your own co-creation lab and be ready to share your ideas or queries. Please email us if you need anything. You will have our emails in a moment. So you will have time at the beginning of the second day to talk to people, to talk to colleagues in your countries and the whole group, talk to all of us about what you've thought about between now and the second day on how you would prepare to run a co-creation lab in your school. What practical things from the preparation phase checklist in your lab planner would you do and how would you do it? It's so helpful for us to share this practice and learn from each other. And please, please be ready to talk. We are so interested and all friends here, so we're really keen to hear what your ideas are and help in any way we can. And no. And lastly, so we will chat with another teacher from Spain who is involved in that project. So if you have anything that you think of that you would like to ask them, have it ready and we can put it in the chat or we can ask her. Okay, you might have some more specific ideas now we've begun the training. So we're finishing a bit early. I don't know if any partners want to say anything before we finish.
Just one thing that I think is quite important during the second day of the training, if everyone could have a look at the resources at the welcome pack, beforehand, so that we all know about what we're talking, so that we can have fruitful discussions in the breakout rooms, because I know that some teachers arrived later. I know that it's difficult because it's Friday afternoon, but if you could just have a look beforehand, it would be easier for everyone, to follow up with a discussion and have fruitful, discussions and interactions among us.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Joanna. So please do watch. If you didn't see all the training today, or you weren't here for all the training, or you had to leave for a bit of it, please watch the recording, which we will send you afterwards, and also do the activities that you have in the resource bank that we give instructions for in the recording, so that, like Joanna says, you are ready and you have some ideas about what we're talking about, and we can share some practice and ideas. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and also don't be afraid, to tell us your experience in activities that you are already doing in class. That would be fantastic, because it's we want to to better the activities bank that we already have, to add more activities that are happening in your countries and your schools.
Yeah, perfect. Anyone else, any other partners like to say anything? You don't have to. I just don't want to cut everyone off before everyone's had a chance to say something.
Just a big thank you to Jen and Katrina for organizing this.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, congratulations. Congratulations from me also, from Jen, Katrina, and all partners. I want to thank all the teachers also, and I want to say to them that this is a learning process. Social innovation education is a methodology developed already in a Horizon project, which was very big and tested in many schools around Europe. But this project now, Change Shaping Schools, you can consider that this is ours and your project, and we can all be engaged here and maybe create some meaningful activities in all your schools in those 4 countries. And we are all eager to cooperate with you, and feel free to contact us and your national ambassador. I'm saying again, is Christos for Cyprus, Madalina for Romania, Uros and Tijana for Serbia, and for Croatia, unfortunately now we don't have someone, but is Christina, who will be in touch with all Croatian teachers for all projects duration. And we are here, and we are waiting for you next in 2 weeks from now. Please don't forget us. Okay.
Yes, don't forget us. Thanks, Teo. Yeah, so we have mine and Katrina's contact details here, also Joanna and Teo's emails, and in the email I send you afterwards with the recording and all the resources and information, all the project partners will be copied into that, so you will have all our emails. And please, of course, the local project partners are there to support you, but we're here as well in the UK and Greece, so please do get in touch if you want anything at all. We will actually be here, Katrina and me, for another 15 minutes if anyone wants anything. Yeah, otherwise I'd just like to say thank you so much for giving up your Friday to be here with us, especially as it's so late in your countries. And we're really, really looking forward to seeing the projects and supporting you with them and creating some Alex type magic, I think. So
thanks, guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, see you in 2 weeks.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a lovely evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.
Bye.